This is our kitchen, and basically what we have done is that we recently painted them with the Rust-Oleum kit, all the cabinets, and they looks very nice now. But the problem is our countertops, those are the old countertops. So if you look at this one is kind of pinkish countertop everywhere, and this doesn't go nicely with the uh, kitchen cabinet colors. So what we have decided is that basically replace these countertops with the black countertops, which are Pragel countertops, which we bought from IKEA, which has kind of a granite kind of look, mineral granite look, and this is what we are planning to do. So as a part of that, what I've decided that instead of doing it all together for all these countertops, since I'm doing it first time, what I'll be doing is basically replacing this countertop and this countertop. So once I'm comfortable with that one, then I will go and do it for the other area also. So what we are going to do is we are going to cut the Pragel countertop black mineral effect, which I picked up from the IKEA. The first one is I'm going to cut is 73 1 by 4 by 25 5 by 8 into two pieces. Always it's better to plan the countertops cutting prior you start your work. So for that, what I've done is I've used the IKEA home planner. Using the IKEA home planner, I have created the 3D view of our kitchen, which gives us the better picture that how exactly the countertops are. And then I went one step further to lay out the design on the 2D view with all the dimensions. So what my plan is that I'm going to use 73 by 25 piece to take care of countertop 1 and countertop 1 and countertop 2. So the first countertop is of 4 feet by 25 inch, and the second one is 2 feet by 25 inch. So 25 inch is the original size which our countertop was, but the default one or the Pragel countertop which we picked up from IKEA is little bit on the higher side, 25 by 5 by 8 inch, which is I'm okay with that one. So let's go ahead and start cutting the countertops to take care of countertop part 1 and part 2, and then in the next step I'm going to take care of the bigger size where the sink is located, and it has like it's kind of a big, so I have to figure it out that how I'm going to lay out the countertops for that part. So as a part of that first step, what I've done is that removing the existing countertop, and what I found is that it's pretty easy to remove the countertops. I'll just go through the steps which we have followed to remove the countertops, and then we'll go step by step replacing the existing countertop with the new countertops. So what you have to do is you have to reach to the bottom of the countertop. When you look at the bottom of the countertop, you will see at each corner there are kind of a bracket is there, and that bracket has a screw which is upside down, holding the entire countertop. So what you have to do is you have to remove that, unscrew that screw in each corner. So I did that one, and same thing for the front as well as for the back. And now if you see that because of this countertop is can be easily removed from the top. So this is basically the first step. So hopefully the countertops you are planning to replace, they are not glued down. Most of the time those countertops are like screwed in our case, the way it has been done in our case. But in case if they are glued down, then probably it is going to be a little bit tricky part. So let's go to the next step. Before that, I want to show you after removal of the countertop how it looks. Okay, this one is the removed countertop. As I mentioned earlier, this has been uh, screwed from the bottom to hold it tight on the top on the cabinet, and these are the 4 brackets which I was referring to. So this is the first, second, third and fourth. So it's pretty easy to just unscrew those screws and the entire countertop will come out. And in addition to this, um, we had this backslash which is also similar to the countertop color only. So I am planning to take care of, means basically replace the this countertop also, means backslash also. So this one is like kind of pinned down in the between the wall and the countertop. So this is how it was. So now the first part is done. We'll go further and see that how we can replace the existing countertop with the new countertop. So this is the Pragel 102.087.83 countertop which I picked up from IKEA, and this is the box. So as per the instructions, it says that do not use any kind of sharp material to open it. So I used my hand to open the box, and this is what we have currently in the box. Let me open this one to show you guys. So this is the countertop. It has some kind of manual, and this is what I'm going to put the countertop as. And these are the 2 strips which I'll be using once I cut the countertop to stick on the side which is going to be exposed on the cut area. So my first part, as I mentioned earlier, it is going to be 4 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the countertop first piece little bit more, like 2 centimeters, sorry, 2 millimeters, little bit more than 4 feet. So it is like 4 feet 2 millimeters. So in case of there is any kind of big breakages on the seam, I could just sand it down easily and then hide that in using this strips provided with the countertop. Okay, let's mark first and let's see that how we can cut it. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take the cut at 4 feet 2 mm. So what I've done is I used the mask tape to overlap that 4 feet 2 mm measurements, and I'm not going to cut from the front side, but I'm going to cut from the back side, so that if it chips away, that chipping will be minimal because of this masking tape. So as mentioned earlier, on the other side of the countertop, I marked the line at 4 feet 2 mm, and also I clamped the guider for the machine, that is the circular saw, which will allow me to make a straight cut. Let's do that. Tape after cutting the countertop, and I'm really happy with the cut which I got. It's very fine cut, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this cut using the provided strip with the countertop box. So this is, I think I'm done with the first part. Let's see that how I can fix this now on the countertop. This is how I pasted the side strip on the cut side of the countertop, and I'm keeping this to dry out for 30 minutes or so. Once it is done, I'll cut it from the side and file it on the edges so that it will match up with the each edge. And once this is done, the last part is going to be to put this countertop on the cabinets and screw it with the screw from the bottom so that it won't move anywhere. So this is how the countertop looks now after the final installation. Still the backslash part is remaining, which I'll be taking care at later stage. Next I'm going to start with this countertop, which is a small piece. I'm going to use the remaining piece from the original countertop which I bought, and I've already removed the screws underneath which was holding this countertop. So let's remove and see that how much cut we have to make to add the new countertop. So this is the second countertop which I removed, and what I found that the width of this countertop is 2 feet, whereas the countertop which I'm going to replace with this countertop has little bit more width. As you see, I've already marked. I have to remove 1 inch of the piece from this countertop. So I've already marked this one. I'm going to remove now this countertop the way we did it for the first countertop. So I've already completed the first part, and now today is day 2, and I'm going to target replacing this countertop with the black IKEA Pragel countertop. This is what we have done for the first part. So this is coming pretty nicely, and the same thing I have to do it for this part also. The problem is here I have to decide where the joints will come for the countertop. Definitely I cannot use one single countertop to replace this entire thing. So one joint, definitely there are 2 joints going to come, one somewhere here and another somewhere here. These are the 2 pieces of countertop which I bought, which I'm going to use for replacing the remaining part. So this piece is 97 by 25 inch, and this piece is 73 by 25 inch. And what I found is that if I use this pieces like this to join, then join will be visible, and I don't want that. I want minimal visibility of the join. So what I'm going to do is, the place where join is going to come, I'll be cutting that part of the countertop, and then once I have the airtight fix, I'll be putting some kind of filler to hide that joint. One suggestion: do not throw the boxes which came up with this countertops, because you could use those boxes, one side of the box, for creating the template. So here what I've done is, the 97 inches piece cardboard, I've cut the cardboard into one single piece, and this one is 73 inches cardboard piece, which even this has the IKEA marks and all those things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for creating the template, because I know that on this larger piece I'll be installing the kitchen cabinet, and not kitchen cabinet, I'll be installing the sink, and I don't know at this point of time how big the sink cut I have to do on this countertop. So I'll be using this cardboards to create the template from the existing countertop, mark that area on the cardboard, and then pass on that markings on the countertop which I'm going to cut. Okay, I'll explain you as I perform that activity. So I've removed the countertop. So this is the main piece of the countertop. After dismantling the sink from the countertop, this is the place where the sink was. So let me show you how to remove the sink how I remove the sink from the countertop. These are the brackets holding the sink to the countertop, so it's pretty easy. You have to just loosen these brackets and the sink will come out very easily. And now the next step is going to be take the measurements first on the cardboards which we are going to use, came out from the boxes. Then measure this part where we have to cut the hole for the sink, and then actually cut the hole on the new countertop. Now the actual countertop, after removing the backsplash, so it looks like this. Earlier it was one single piece, but since from IKEA, the countertop which I bought, it has like 73 inches one piece and the 97 inches another piece. So what I've decided that I will use this piece and have the joint somewhere here. So this is going to be the one single piece, and this I'll use the 76 inches piece, and I'll have the joint over here, and another piece 96 inches piece I'll use from here till end. So that means I'll have one joint over here and have another joint over here, because this is like 96 inches. So this is going to be the small piece which I have to cut and place here. So this is one joint, and another joint is this joint, and on the 96 inches piece I have to cut the hole to fit the sink. So here is the countertop upside down, and this is the portion where the sink was attached to the countertop, and these are the cardboards which I'm going to use as a template to figure it out that how much I have to cut on the countertop. So this is first piece of the countertop. This is the first 76 inches piece, which will go as it is on the countertop on one side, and this is the second piece of the countertop, which is the 96 inches of the piece on which I am going to cut the sink hole also, where I am going to fit the sink. So as you see, it's going to match very nicely. The only problem here is the 96 inch piece is little bit more on this side, which later on I'm going to cut. So basically I've used one 76 inch piece and another 96 inch piece, and the only part remaining is this one, which I have to cut from the third piece. So let's mark the template on this, and then I'll show you how this 96 inches piece looks like after cutting the sink hole. So we are done with the first and the second part. So this is what I was talking about, the joint which it's not yet fixed, but once it is done, it will be very nice joint, seamless joint. So what I'm going to do is this, all these masking tapes which I put, those are underneath the masking tapes. I'm going to put the stud to connect the first piece and the second piece, so that they'll be on the same level. This is the part where it's going to be sinkhole is going to come, so which I'm going to cut now. And once this is done, then this is the portion which is the remaining portion, which will have another piece which I'll be putting. So this is what I have so far. I'm going to concentrate on cutting the sinkhole at this point using the template which we have created previously. So this is our template which we initially marked on the cardboard, and what I've done is I marked the same using this template. I marked the rectangular section for the sinkhole on the countertop. After that, I drilled one pilot hole, and using that pilot hole I've used the reciprocating saw to cut this entire rectangular portion to fit the sink. If you see, this portion is still there, which I'm going to cut and finish this entire rectangular section for the countertop. I'm done with the cutting of the hole, rectangular hole to fit the sink. This came pretty nicely. In addition to that, you must be wondering what this silver color strip is. This is the moisture diffuser which you will get at IKEA. So this you have to put somewhere in the place where actually the dishwasher is going to come. So this will prevent moisture getting into the countertop. That's it. So I'm pretty much done with cutting using the template. So I'm going to take this entire finished countertop to the kitchen to fit it with other part of the countertop. So here, whatever the cut piece where we are going to install the sink, I've coated it with the transparent silicone, so that even if the water leaks, it won't damage the countertop. So the plan is now to have the clock all over the place, like here, entire set like this, and then force fit the sink on this one, and then excessive clock can be removed once it dries out. So here it is, countertop after installation of the sink. It is now pretty well fit into the sink cut. And in addition to this, what I've done is, like, I've cut the countertop 4-inch pieces to take care of the backsplash. And as you see that many of these pieces have like the edges, which I'm going to use the plates which came up with the IKEA countertop to hide this area. That part is not yet done, and after this, once this is done, use the clock to seal the joints. Probably I'll be using for that the black clock. So it's coming pretty well. So this is how it looks now, unfinished of course. And on this side it's like this. Let me show you the 4-inch pieces. So this is what I've cut from the countertop itself to use it as a backsplash.